everybody. Happy Friday. It's Dr. Minette Riordan with North Texas Kids Magazine and the Academy for Parent Coaching International here to talk about heart-wise parenting. Remember that a heart-wise parent is one who is present, who knows what's going on with their kids, who pays attention, who does a great job of listening, and who really sees their kids for who they are. My topic for today is last night's episode of CSI. One of my secret vices is I love cop shows, spy shows, all those crazy shows, and have always really enjoyed watching CSI. And they're always so relevant. You know, they really seem to bring up quite a few topics about things that are definitely happening in the media currently. Well, last night's show was really interesting. I don't know if you saw it or not, but and it's very dramatic. This is definitely probably not something you want to listen to with your own kids if you're watching this. But there was a young high school aged girl who they weren't sure, but anyway, she was hung to death. And of course, the whole show was about, did she commit suicide or was she murdered? Anyway, they realized that she was 8.5 months pregnant. They saved the baby, which was amazing. And, you know, a little graphic to watch on TV. There's parts of that show that I absolutely adore. I love the characters, but some of the graphic part really kind of oogs me out. But as I was watching the show develop and trying to figure out what was going to happen, they show a scene where the mom walks into the mortuary to find her daughter and to try to understand what happened. And she's talking to one of the CSI agents. And she absolutely refused to admit that her daughter was 8.5 months pregnant and that she had a grandchild sitting in a hospital by itself with no one to check in on it. At this point in the show, they don't know who the father is. And the mother's saying, my daughter doesn't have sex. My daughter's not dating. And then, you know, a little bit later, well, my husband died and she blames me and I'm trying to deal with my own stuff. But the crux of the conversation was that this mother was completely and totally unaware of what was going on in her daughter's life and how upset her daughter was. The fact, I mean, how can you hide a pregnancy for 8.5 months? 8.5 months. Yes, if you're a young, thin person, you could probably wear baggy shirts. We live in Texas. It's hot here. If somebody was wearing a sweatshirt in the middle of the summer, you'd notice something was going on. But if you're a heart-wise parent, you're paying attention to what's happening in the lives of your children. She would have seen either the joy in her daughter's face from being head over heels in love or the panic in her daughter's face when she realized that she was pregnant. As the show goes on, they end up arresting an entire group of cheerleaders who they basically were charging with murder because this was a case about cyberbullying. And I don't know if you saw the great article in last month's magazine about two teens talking about bullying. You can go to northtexaskids.com or to youdo.com and Google North Texas Kids and find that article. It's a topic we definitely need to be talking about. The CSI agents and the police are talking and they're saying, where are the parents in all of this? It was clear the mom of this poor dead child was completely out of touch with reality. But where are the other parents and why aren't they involved and invested in paying attention to what was happening in these children's lives? So they show what these teenagers had created, and they had made mock videos and they had sent it out virally all over the internet and around the school. And it was just absolutely horrible. And so this last scene you see of this teenage girl before she hangs herself is of her crying and sobbing and trying to get rid of her computer and to get rid of her phone, and this constant flow and flood of messages coming in all over the place telling her what a terrible person she is. There was nobody in her life to provide a safe place to talk, a safe place for support. And of course, the young man who was in love with her and who got her pregnant, you know, is trying to back out at the last minute because, of course, he's going through his own trauma and devastation. Hadn't told his parents. These kids were totally alone and not supported anywhere by anybody or anything. It was just absolutely horrible. And I don't want to be that parent. I don't know about you. I want my kids to feel like they can absolutely, definitely tell me anything, anytime, and that we will work through it together and that I am always their safe haven. Yes, there's things they do that make me angry. Yes, there's things they do that are disappointing. But I would never want them to have to face a critical life challenge like this girl went through on their own. So what are you doing to cultivate safety and security for your children? What can you do to be a better listener, to make it okay, to listen with love, to listen to without judgment, to make sure that your children grow into adulthood, managing to overcome the bumps and the obstacles and the craziness that happens in those teenage years. This is a topic that has to be talked about, not just the cyberbullying. And I am a true believer that kids learn by witnessing what their parents are doing. Kids don't learn how to be bullies by themselves. They learn it from other kids, and they see it happening at home. If they're not taught to treat others with kindness and respect at home, how can we expect them to go out into the world and treat other kids and teachers and adults with love and respect? So I ask you, what do you want for your kids? What kind of relationship do you want to have with them? And what can you model for them to have beautiful relationships with others as they grow into adulthood? Mistakes happen, things happen. Don't you want them to go through it knowing that beyond everything that they are going to be loved and supported? It's what I want for my kids. Happy Friday. I'm Dr. Minette Riordan here with another adventure in Heartwise Parenting. Have a good one.